shamrocks, because he used shamrocks to teach a lesson. So I was showing the kids how he did that and what he was talking about, because I don't know if you know, but he used items and things to teach, which is a very good way to teach. And one of the things he used was the shamrock, because the shamrock it's kind of a leaf itself, but it has 3 leaves around it. And so I was showing them what the leaves looked like, and each leaf is shaped like a heart. And one of the kids, I said, so what did St. Patrick teach? And they said, love. And I thought, yeah, he kind of did. So what I thought I would do is read you the story of St. Patrick, and then talk about what that means for us. And then know at the end, it's just another chance to remember what Jesus is teaching us. So, this is a summary of St. Patrick's life. He was not born in Ireland. He was born in Britain, and his name was, and I'm going to say this wrong, but it's Maewyn Succat. It was a very long time ago. And when he was 16, raiders from Ireland kidnapped him, and they took him to Ireland as a slave. After he was there for 6 years, he escaped and got somebody to take him back to Britain on a ship. And then he was reunited with his family. And while he was there with his family, he had a dream that kind of showed him he should probably go back to Ireland and maybe teach them about God. He didn't really want to do that without getting the education, so he did. He went to school and became a priest and changed his name to Patrick. This is the story. Is this the story? Here, I got more. He went back to Ireland and he taught them. And the way he taught them was a way that he could get that information to them that they would understand. He spread the gospel, he baptized converts, he taught everything he could give them. He established churches and schools. His name was not Patrick. He was not Irish, and he didn't drive the snakes out of Ireland. The real St. Patrick was a missionary, strong and creative, a missionary in a land where he had been a slave. He was an amazing guy. And this holiday, this time of remembering him and Ireland, can be more than just wearing green and going out. It can be more than that. It could be a way to remember. You know, I think God sends us all these different ways for us to remember what Jesus taught us. And so here's another one that I never really thought to use. I looked up, what can we learn from St. Patrick? What can we learn from his story? And most of the things that I read talked about, we can learn forgiveness, because not for nothing, that man forgave. He forgave the people that came and kidnapped him. He forgave them enough to go back and help them for the rest of his life. He learned perseverance and hope. He made it through those 6 years that he was a slave. He made it through the time that he was in Britain trying to go to school to learn how to be a priest. And he learned that it's important to share the gospel. It's important to teach people what God is saying. What this means to me is, once again, I need to forgive. No matter what's done, no matter how bad it is, I still need to be able to forgive people. We know that when you forgive, you feel better. But we also know when you forgive, you're doing what Jesus told us to do. This is the way that we show that we love the people, the other people. The ones that are not necessarily in my family, or friends that I can call on the phone. We know that we can get through stuff. Now, we don't necessarily believe that every single day. Every single day, stuff happens, and I worry, and I get scared. And every single time, whether it's that night or 2 weeks from them or 3 years, I realize I made it through and I learned something. St. Patrick reminds us when somebody does something to hurt, when somebody does something and it hurts you, we need to forgive them. He reminds us we need to teach other people, however we do it. It doesn't have to be God said do this. It can be the way that I act so that they can see. And we need to remember we can get through. I always thought that meant we can get through without dying. And now I know that's not the promise. The promise is not God will get us through this without us having to die. That's not the promise. The promise is God will take care of it. And sometimes that means that we go and live with Him in heaven. I guess if you can remember that and feel it, maybe you won't have so much fear. But I also know this, that we are human. We can only do what we can do. So I'm going to probably continue to worry and have fear, but I'm not going to lose the faith. I'm going to come back to it as much as I possibly can. If St. Patrick can be a slave as a child for 6 years, figure out a way to get back to his home country, go to school, and come back to the place that he was scared to death, to teach and give back. Maybe I can just, maybe once in a while, maybe not be quite so nervous or scared, because knowing we will get through this. Always comes down to that. It's always a reminder. Always a reminder. And St. Patrick is a fun reminder because you get to eat corned beef and cabbage, and you get to have fun with your friends, and you get to wear green and pretend you're Irish. There's a little poem, just a short one, that I found. And it's called The Love of St. Patrick. May the love of St. Patrick find a place in your heart. A love of a country, a land set apart, a love of a people so proud and so true. And lastly, the love that I feel now for you. That's what he did. St. Patrick taught us, you love people even if they hurt you. You forgive them. You help them. So I'm going to try to live that at least for the next week and try to get through and know God's got this. I love you a lot. I miss you. But we'll be together soon. Have a good week.